I, 20M, never thought I'd be in this situation, but here I am trying to make sense of everything that's happened in the past few days. My girlfriend Pamela, 20F, and I met during orientation week in our freshman year of engineering. We were both lost trying to find the physics lab, ended up walking together, and just clicked. She's in chemical engineering while I'm in mechanical, but we have several common courses due to the program structure. From the beginning, I noticed how driven Pamela was. She came from a family of academics, both her parents are professors at another university, and her older sister Allison, 25F, is doing her PhD in mathematics. Pamela had always been at the top of her class in high school, and she was determined to maintain that record in college. I admired her dedication at first. I'm more of a hands-on person myself. I love working in the labs and doing practical projects, while theoretical coursework isn't really my strong suit. We started dating about 6 months after meeting, and things were great initially. We balanced each other well. She helped me understand complex theories, and I helped her with lab work and practical applications. We shared the same friend group, spent most of our free time together, and generally seemed perfect for each other. Our friends often joked about us being the power couple of our year. The problems started showing up during our second semester. We had a joint project in physics lab too, and I ended up getting a better grade than her because the professor really liked my experimental approach. Pamela didn't speak to me for 3 days after that. When she finally did, she made comments about how the professor must have graded unfairly or how my approach wasn't technically correct despite getting good results. I brushed it off at first, thinking she was just having a bad week. But similar incidents kept happening. If I did well in a presentation, she'd point out all the flaws in it later. If I scored well on a test, she'd remind me how she'd done better in previous ones. It got to the point where I started downplaying my achievements around her just to avoid her reactions. Our mutual friend Tom, 20M, noticed this pattern and tried to talk to me about it several times. He said it wasn't healthy how Pamela would get upset at my successes, but I defended her. I understood the pressure she was under from her family. Her parents regularly compared her grades to Allison's college records, and I knew it affected her deeply. The real breaking point came last week during our advanced materials exam. This is a required course for both our specializations, and it's known to be one of the tougher ones. I actually found the subject interesting and had been studying consistently for once, instead of my usual last-minute cramming. I attended all the lectures, took detailed notes, and even joined a study group. Pamela, on the other hand, had been complaining about not having enough time to prepare. She was involved in several club activities and said she couldn't focus on studying. The night before the exam, she asked me to help her understand some concepts. I spent 3 hours going over everything with her, even skipping my own final revision to help her prepare. During the exam, we sat next to each other as usual. In our college, there's this unspoken culture of helping each other during exams. I know it's not right, but it's so common that not participating can actually put you at a disadvantage. Pamela kept asking to see my answers throughout the exam. I'd pause my own work to angle my paper so she could see, which meant I was constantly falling behind on time. I didn't mind though, I wanted to help her succeed. What I didn't expect was her reaction when the results came out yesterday. I scored a 94, while Pamela got an 89. When the professor announced the grades in class, Pamela just got up and walked out. She wouldn't answer my calls or texts for hours. When she finally responded, it was with a barrage of angry messages accusing me of betraying her. She claimed I must have cheated to get that grade, completely ignoring the fact that I had actually studied hard. She said things like I was trying to show her up, that I knew how important this course was for her GPA, and that a real boyfriend would have made sure she got the better grade. She even brought up how she had helped me in previous courses, saying I owed her. I tried explaining my side of things. I told her about all the extra studying I'd done, reminded her how I'd helped her prepare, and pointed out that I had actually lost points in the exam because I spent so much time helping her. But she wouldn't listen. She kept saying I had changed, that I was becoming too competitive, and that I didn't care about her feelings anymore. Then last night, she called me with this bizarre ultimatum. If either of us finds someone else before the end of this year, about 7 months from now, we break up permanently. If neither of us does, we stay together as just friends. Her reasoning was that she needed time to focus on her academics without feeling threatened by me, but she also didn't want to lose me completely from her life. I'm completely lost about how to handle this. Tom thinks she's already talking to someone else and is using this ultimatum as a way to keep me as a backup while she explores other options. But our other friends are divided. Some think I should give her space to work through her issues, while others say I should just end things now. My relationship with Pamela goes beyond just dating. We've built our entire college life around each other. We're in the same study groups, share most of our friends, and even planned our future internships together. Breaking up would mean completely restructuring my social and academic life. Plus, I still care about her deeply. When things are good between us, they're really good. We understand each other in a way that's hard to find. We've supported each other through tough times, family issues, academic stress, personal struggles. The thought of losing all that is terrifying. But this ultimatum feels manipulative and unfair. It's like she's punishing me for working hard and succeeding. I can't help but wonder if this is how it's always going to be, me having to dim my own light to make her comfortable. So Reddit, I need your advice. Should I wait out this strange ultimatum period? Should I try one more time to talk to her about her competitive behavior? Or should I just end things now and deal with the fallout? Has anyone else dealt with something similar in their academic relationships? I feel like I'm being forced to choose between my academic success and my relationship, and I don't know what to do. Update 1. It's been 2 weeks since my original post, and everything has gotten so much worse than I imagined. First, I want to thank everyone who commented and offered advice. Most of you suggested I needed to have a serious conversation with Pamela about the ultimatum and her competitive behavior, so that's what I tried to do. Last Monday, I texted Pamela asking if we could meet and talk things through. She agreed to meet at our usual study spot in the engineering building. When I got there, I found her in one of the study rooms with a guy I'd never seen before. She introduced him as Jake, 21M, saying he was her new study partner from her department. Something felt off about the whole situation. They had papers spread across the table, were sitting unusually close, and seemed to be sharing inside jokes. Jake didn't even bother to get up or properly introduce himself, just gave me a casual wave and went back to whatever they were working on. Pamela suggested we talk later since she was in the middle of something important. I left feeling confused and honestly, a bit hurt. We'd always studied together, even subjects we didn't share. This felt like she was deliberately pushing me away. Later that day, my friend Emma, 20F, from Pamela's department texted me. She'd seen my original Reddit post, she figured out it was me from the details, and had something she thought I should know. According to Emma, Pamela and Jake had been spending a lot of time together even before our fight about the exam grades. They'd been paired up for a project in environmental engineering about a month ago, and since then, they'd been practically inseparable. This explains so much. All those times Pamela said she was too busy to study for our shared class, all those cancelled study sessions and date nights, she'd been with Jake. Emma also mentioned that Jake had recently broken up with his long-term girlfriend, and there were rumors that Pamela had something to do with it. I decided to confront Pamela about this. I called her that evening and asked her directly about Jake. She immediately got defensive. "Oh, so now I'm not allowed to have study partners?" She snapped. "You're the one who betrayed my trust by trying to show me up in the exam. Jake actually understands the pressure I'm under." The conversation got worse from there. She revealed that Jake had been helping her prepare for an upcoming engineering competition, one that could lead to a prestigious internship opportunity at a major chemical company. This was the first I'd heard about any competition. We'd always shared our academic plans before, had even talked about trying to get internships at the same companies. Finding out she'd been planning this behind my back, with Jake of all people, felt like a punch to the gut. When I asked why she hadn't told me about the competition, she threw the ultimatum back in my face. "Weren't you listening when I said we needed space?" she said. "You should be focusing on finding someone else instead of monitoring my activities." That was the deal, remember? Things took an even more unexpected turn when I ran into Allison, Pamela's sister, at the campus coffee shop 2 days later. Allison was on campus visiting a professor friend, and she looked really uncomfortable when she saw me. She tried to leave quickly, but I managed to catch her. After some convincing, she agreed to talk. What Allison told me made me feel sick. Pamela had been talking to her about Jake for weeks, long before our fight about the exam. Jake had started flirting with her during their project work, and instead of shutting it down, Pamela had been encouraging it. But here's the worst part, she kept me around as a backup plan. Allison showed me texts where Pamela had been asking for advice about how to keep both options open. But that wasn't even the most shocking revelation. With obvious discomfort, Allison admitted that Pamela had been actively trying to sabotage my academic performance for months. She'd been spreading rumors to professors about me cheating on exams, hoping they'd scrutinize my work more closely. She'd been deleting important emails about project deadlines from our shared study group chat before I could see them. She'd even tried to hack into my student account to change my project submission dates. Thankfully, she failed. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. All those times I'd missed important announcements or felt like professors were being unusually strict with my work, it had been Pamela's doing. The girl I'd loved and supported for 2 years had been actively trying to sabotage my academic career. I spent a day processing everything, then confronted Pamela with what I'd learned. To my shock, she didn't even try to deny it. Instead, she broke down crying, saying she felt threatened by my improving grades and couldn't handle the idea that I might end up more successful than her. Then, in a twist that left me speechless, she tried to turn it around on me. "If you really loved me," she said through tears, "you would have noticed how much this was hurting me. You would have deliberately performed worse to make me feel better." I'm still trying to wrap my head around this logic. She actually expected me to intentionally damage my own academic record to protect her ego. When I pointed out how messed up this was, she stormed out, saying I never understood her or her needs. Since then, she's been alternating between sending me angry messages blaming me for ruining everything and tearful apologies saying she'll change. Jake, meanwhile, has been constantly around her, playing the supportive friend role. Our mutual friends are split. Some think I should have seen this coming given her competitive nature, while others are as shocked as I am. I haven't officially ended things yet, but I've told Pamela I need space to think. I've also started documenting everything, the deleted emails, the messages, Allison's revelations, just in case Pamela tries to escalate her sabotage. Tom is helping me set up automatic backups of all my academic work. I feel like such an idiot for not seeing this sooner. The signs were all there, her excessive competitiveness, the mood swings when I succeeded, the increasing secretiveness. I'm trying to focus on my studies, but it's hard knowing she might still be trying to sabotage me behind the scenes. Update 2. It's been a month since my last update, and everything has exploded in ways I never could have imagined. I thought I had uncovered the full extent of Pamela's betrayal, but what I've discovered since then has left me completely shocked. The revelation started when Lisa, 19F, a junior from our department, came to me after class last week. She seemed nervous and kept looking over her shoulder as she asked if we could talk privately. Once we were alone, she pulled out her laptop and showed me something that made my blood run cold. Lisa had screenshots of emails where Pamela had been actively trying to get me removed from the prestigious undergraduate research project I'd been selected for last semester. Pamela had created a fake email account pretending to be a concerned student and had written to Professor Anderson, the project supervisor. In these emails, she claimed to have evidence that I had cheated on my application materials and suggested that my selection was a mistake. She hadn't just made vague accusations, she had actually altered copies of my previous assignments, making it look like I had plagiarized content. She'd even created a fake paper trail of me buying essays online. The level of detail in her deception was terrifying. The only reason this didn't work was that Professor Anderson found the timing of these claims suspicious. They came right after he had praised my project proposal in front of the entire department. He quietly investigated the allegations before taking any action and found inconsistencies in the evidence. After Lisa came forward, other students started sharing similar stories. Marco, 20M, from my study group revealed that Pamela had told him I had been bad-mouthing his research work to professors, which wasn't true at all. This explained why he had been cold towards me lately and had stopped sharing his notes. Emily, 21F, from the robotics club admitted that Pamela had convinced her not to include me in their latest project, claiming I had taken credit for other people's work in previous collaborations. I had wondered why I wasn't asked to join despite having relevant experience. But the worst revelation came from Jake himself. He showed up at my apartment last night, looking guilty and agitated. After some hesitation, he confessed that he and Pamela had been planning to submit my research proposal ideas as their own for the upcoming internship competition. Jake showed me their conversation history on his phone. They had systematically gone through my project notes, which Pamela had access to from our shared study sessions, and had been adapting my ideas to fit their proposal. They had even practiced answers to potential questions about the research methodology, creating a detailed backstory about how they came up with the ideas. The reason Jake came clean? Pamela had started treating him the same way she treated me. When he scored higher than her in their recent departmental evaluation, she accused him of stealing her study materials. She started making snide comments about his intelligence and suggested that he only got good grades because professors felt sorry for him. With all this evidence, I finally worked up the courage to go to the department head, Professor Martinez. I showed her everything, the fake emails, the altered assignments, the plagiarized research proposals, and the testimonies from other students. I also shared the text messages where Pamela had admitted to sabotaging my academic work. Professor Martinez was appalled. She immediately called a meeting with the Academic Integrity Committee. Pamela was summoned to explain herself, but instead of showing remorse, she tried to paint herself as the victim. She claimed the academic pressure had driven her to these actions and that everyone was conspiring against her. The committee didn't buy it. They've suspended her from the research program pending a full investigation. Jake has been removed from the internship competition for his role in the attempted plagiarism. The university is now reviewing all of Pamela's previous academic work for potential misconduct. Pamela's parents showed up on campus yesterday after being notified about the investigation. Her father tried to throw his academic reputation around, threatening to make calls to his colleagues, but the evidence was too solid to ignore. Her mother actually sought me out to apologize, saying they had no idea their pressure for academic excellence had pushed Pamela to such extremes. The whole engineering department is buzzing with this scandal. Some people have suggested I pressed charges too hard, that I could have handled it privately. But after discovering the systematic way she tried to destroy my academic career, I couldn't just let it go. Update 3. 3 months have passed since everything came to light, and I finally feel ready to share the final update to this crazy situation. The university's investigation into Pamela's academic misconduct was thorough and damning. They found evidence of cheating going back to our freshman year, including altered assignments, plagiarized papers, and manipulated group project evaluations. She's been suspended for 2 semesters, and all her academic achievements are under review. Pamela didn't take the suspension well. She tried everything to avoid the consequences. First, she attempted to blame it all on stress and pressure from her parents. When that didn't work, she claimed she had mental health issues that made her act this way. Finally, she tried to pin some of the blame on me, saying I had pushed her to extremes with my aggressive academic competition. None of it worked. Her parents' reaction was interesting. Her father, after his initial attempts to throw his weight around failed, actually apologized to me privately. He admitted that they might have pushed Pamela too hard, always comparing her to Allison and never letting her feel like she was good enough. Her mother, on the other hand, still sends me occasional messages asking me to speak to the university on Pamela's behalf. I've blocked her number. The fallout in our friend group was massive. Most people sided with me after learning the full extent of her actions. Even those who initially defended her couldn't justify the systematic way she tried to destroy my academic career. Tom has been especially supportive, helping me rebuild my confidence and encouraging me to focus on my own achievements. Allison has completely cut contact with Pamela. She told me she couldn't recognize the sister she grew up with anymore. Last week, she sent me all the text messages where Pamela had bragged about sabotaging me, in case I needed them for any future university proceedings. As for Jake, he transferred to another university after losing his spot in the internship program. I heard from mutual friends that he and Pamela tried dating briefly after everything blew up, but it ended badly. Apparently, she couldn't handle him getting better grades than her at the new university either. Last I heard, he's written a formal apology to the department and is trying to rebuild his academic reputation. Some unexpected positive things have come from this situation. Professor Anderson, after learning about Pamela's attempts to sabotage my research project, has become a mentor figure. He's helped me expand my original proposal into something even better, and we're now working on publishing a paper together. The research is going incredibly well, and several companies have shown interest in my work. I've also been offered a prestigious summer internship at a leading engineering firm. Ironically, it's the same company Pamela had been targeting with her plagiarized version of my research. The hiring manager specifically mentioned being impressed by how I handled the academic integrity situation. Yesterday, I received a long email from Pamela. She's transferred to a university on the other side of the country, saying she needed a fresh start. She wrote about how sorry she was, how therapy was helping her understand her actions, and how she hoped someday I could forgive her. I didn't respond. Some bridges, once burned, should stay that way. Looking back, I still can't believe how much my life has changed in the past few months. I'm no longer walking on eggshells, trying to manage someone else's insecurities. My grades have improved now that I'm not constantly worried about outperforming anyone. I've made new friends in my department and rebuilt relationships with people Pamela had driven away. Several people have suggested I should forgive Pamela, saying she's getting help now and deserves a second chance. But I'm done setting myself on fire to keep others warm. Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is walk away and not look back. I'm focusing on my own future now, my research, my internship, my genuine friendships. For the first time in years, I can celebrate my achievements without guilt or fear. If there's one thing I've learned from all this, it's that real love, whether in relationships or friendships, lifts you up. It doesn't drag you down or make you dim your light to make others comfortable.